So I just wanted to share thoughts with you before the new year. Um, I think if anybody thinks similar to how I think, sometimes you kind of think that you might be alone in the way that whether your life is going or whatever. How it gets hard, or how, like, well, your truck driving job, company, whatever sucks. There is no perfect trucking company, okay? First off, let's just start there. I mean, you could ask me, I've had a lot of jobs. And that's because I was always thinking, oh, there's something better out there, something better. Had I come here without having those jobs, where I'm working at now, I wouldn't have appreciated this job, and I'm going to tell you why. I don't like the way they don't communicate here. When you're new and there's a lot of places you haven't been, you don't get addresses. So it's like you might get a city and then you have to be like, put two and two together that, oh, I'm going to this tank wash in this city. This must be the one they're talking about. And then you go to ask them and it takes a few minutes and you finally get an address. Or, thankfully, this company has a Facebook group where we ask each other questions. And that's been very helpful. And you also get to see people in there like bitch and complain too, which is really cool. Because then you're not by yourself. I mean, it always helps to know that you're not alone in the way that you think and what you're going through, in life. So, had it not been for all the jobs and had it not been for this Facebook group, I would have been thinking, man, taking this stuff personally. Like, why aren't they communicating with me? Blah, blah, blah. Which I don't know why I get to that place where I want to take it personally. Because you read in there, you're like, oh, that driver's going through it too. And I don't know why I feel like I should take things like that personally. And it's like a quick reminder when I go into that group and I see somebody bitching or complaining about something that I had a similar issue with or just haven't had an issue with. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's not just me. And that's so helpful to know that. So, yeah, the communication here is not very good. So, I was supposed to get a load today. At least I thought that's why they sent me here, was to get a load today, not tomorrow. And I haven't heard a word from them. Now, the way this works here is you go in and you sign and you let them know you're available. Well, I did that. And I haven't heard a word today. And I knew that if I were to have reached out, because I've been here before, they change up the rules, is what I'm saying. Like, they change up how they do things. It was like 3 different people here and 3 different ways they do things. And I would have taken that personally too, back when I first started coming over here to this particular yard. But then when I was at another yard that we have, I heard drivers complaining about this yard. So then I was like, okay, so it's not all in my head. I'm not over exaggerating. They really do things different depending on who's on call, which is not cool, because, they tell you one thing, like, oh yeah, sign in. Then you email, well, yeah, we're going to call you with the load. And then the next time you come here, you're waiting for the call. They're like, what are you doing? Why haven't you gotten on the load? I was waiting on y'all to call me. Well, your paperwork's been here. Well, how was I supposed to know that? You didn't call me. And then they tell you, oh, well, you got to sign in every day. Well, nobody told me that. I was told to sign this paper to say, hey, I'm available. Why would I need to sign that paper every day? Don't you know I'm here? Where else am I going to go? You know I'm here. You saw my name on the paper. Where else am I going to go? Why would I need to sign the paper every day? So each one of them does something totally different. And it doesn't make any sense. And so now I've been up all day. The last thing I want to do is call and be like, hey, so you got a load? And then they put a load on me like right now as I've been up all day. No, thank you. I will wait until the morning time. So again, I'm waiting on home. I'm going to be going home here in the next few days. And I calculated it. I have to have a load tomorrow in order to be able to get home in time. So tomorrow I will jump on the phone first thing in the morning and be like, hey, you guys got a load for me? What's going on? Or I'll just walk inside, whatever. But you know how drivers is like, we complain because Why is it that we always are held to a different standard, but like dispatch is not? You know, like they can slack or whatever, change out rules, but you know, we got to be accountable for every damn thing, but they don't. You know, that's like the biggest complaint in trucking. So I wanted to get that out of the way. You're not alone if you're at a company that doesn't communicate well. They're not singling you out. Some people just don't hold a high standard in their job. There's a saying that 20% of the workers do 80% of the work. So remember that. You know, next time you take it personally, remember that, okay? 20% of the workers do 80% of the work. So that means a lot of people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing to get shit done. So don't take it personally. Learn it from me. I used to do that shit all the time. I've had so many damn jobs thinking I was going to find the perfect place with the perfect communication, with the perfect dispatch, the perfect trucks. Nah. I do like where I'm at right now, but there ain't nothing perfect about it. But I do like it. There's a lot that can change, but there's a lot that I do like about it. So, you know, you take the good with the bad in anything, in anybody. You take the good with the bad as long as you can handle the bad. That's kind of my saying in life for the last few years. It's like, as long as you can handle the bad, it's not so bad that you can't handle it, and the good outweighs, you go with that. Because there's nothing and no one is perfect. Not even yourself. Alright, so next topic that I want to get out of the way, because I don't want to talk about this anymore, is everything I went through this year that landed me in this truck. So in January of 2024, I found out that the person that I was married to had been cheating on me. Rocked my entire world, shook my entire world. It was like somebody wake me up from this. I mean, it just hit me like, I mean, my hands were shaking when I found out. Like, it just hit me so bad. I found out right after I got off of work, and it just hit me. I mean, it was like my whole world crumbled right in front of me. Not anything I was ever expecting. And that from that moment, I was gonna try to still make it work, you know. But I'm glad that it didn't work out. And I don't want to get too much into that, but that is what landed me in living in a truck. Was that I left my home. I said, I don't even want to be in here. Because that's where it took place. I don't want to be in here. I don't want to walk by that room. I don't want any parts of living here with these memories of, and this person doing this to me. I don't want to be a part of this. It's just a reminder every day. So I basically lived in one of the bedrooms by myself, kept the door shut, lived in there with the bathroom, and just went to work, come home, eat, live in the room. That's all I did for like 3 months until I could get hired at this job and start living in the truck. So that's what I did. And also on February 14th, not only, like I said, I found out in January, February, it was a whole back and forth mess from January to February. But on Valentine's Day is when the ex decided to have the talk of, yeah, I don't want to be married anymore. So had that talk during that evening. A few hours later at midnight, I get a phone call from my aunt that my dad has passed away. So let that sink in for a minute. Yeah. So, that was a whole, I mean, another earth-shattering, just life flipped upside down, right? And having to deal with all that 2 months later, living in a truck. And at the time when you're going through that roughness, when you're going through all that, you have so many thoughts. You have thoughts of just like, am I ever going to get out of this thick cloud of darkness? Should I just end it right now? No, I'm not going to end it. I will get through this. And all you just sit there, you just cry, and you can't eat. When you once loved food and now you can't even eat, you have no appetite, and you just cry all day, every day, alone. You don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want to hear anybody's perspective. You don't want to hear anybody's advice. You just want to have your own thoughts, and then you don't even want to have your own thoughts. And you just want to curl up in a blanket, and you just want to lay there. And you don't want to have any responsibilities because you just need to heal. And a lot of people don't have that luxury that I had, which was I could live in a truck. I could not be around anybody. And I could heal alone without having to put on a fake smile or anything. Fake emotions, nothing. I could just be as real and raw as I needed to be because I didn't have to be around anybody. And that really helped a lot. It was probably April, May, June, July. Okay, yeah, about 3 months of just pure agony, emotional hell. And then it started to ease up a little bit, and I have a better day, a couple better days during the week. And then you get go right back into it again, and then you'd pull out quicker this time, and you'd have a few more extra days during the week that were better. And then here we are in December, at the end of December, almost January, almost 1 year later, and I can say that I am so thankful. And when I look back at when I decided to get a CDL, of how that CDL helped me get through very difficult times of my life last year, well, this year, 2024. Because in September, I found out my dog was gonna get put down. She was 19. She was between 19 and 20 years old, believe it or not. She was between 19 and 20 years old. I adopted her when she was 4, between 4 and 5. And that's why I say between 19 and 20, because I adopted her, we believe she was between 4 and 5. And she was my dog, and I found her, and she lived a beautiful, great life. I've got so many different videos and photos of her, of going to the beach and going to the nursing homes and hanging out with family and friends and other dogs and running around in the yard and at the creek, at the, just, she had a beautiful life. And I love that for her. She was my baby. And yeah, her bladder was starting to become out of control, but I'm not going to get into all that. But yeah, that had to happen. So that happened in September, and it happened right before my birthday. So I had to deal with that. Grieving. And I gotta tell you, man, I've looked back and I said, man, if I hadn't have decided to get a CDL, I don't know what job I would have right now, but it would probably be around people, of course, probably. I mean, most jobs are. How would I have dealt with this? I mean, that's what normal people do, is what everybody has to do. They have to get through it. But this just really, really, really helped me. It helped my personality, because I'm pretty much an introvert, so I really needed that time alone to get through it. And just having a home on wheels, and you're working in home in the same spot, it just really, 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 really helped me a lot. So I got through it. I got through that hard moment, that hard time. And I guess that's just my way of saying, between the first thing I started with, talking about the company that you're with, talking about, if you're in a marriage that's not working, talking about if you lose people that are close to you, that you love and care about so much, you're not alone. Okay, when you feel like you just want to end it, when you feel like you're never going to come out of it, you're not alone. Because it does feel like that. It rocks your world. It shakes things up. It makes you feel like you'll never feel normal and happy again. But you will. Okay, I laugh now. I laugh now. I cry less. Way less. When before I couldn't even imagine myself laughing. Not even really smiling. But I do, and it's made me more grateful. It's made me more appreciative of my job and not taking it for granted. I'm not gonna say I'm perfect, because some days I just want to be like, you know what? Don't call me. I don't want to work today. Okay, but 90% of the time, I'm like, no, I'm grateful to have this job. I'm grateful to have this career. I'm grateful that I can live in this. I'm grateful that I can make the money I'm making. And you know, there is nothing there. Let's go back to that. There's nothing perfect. Am I making $2,500 a week? No, I'm not. That's my goal, is to make $2,500 a week. But I don't make that. I really don't make anywhere close to that. But the money that I do make, I'm thankful for the money that I make. I'm thankful that I have food, and I have water, and I have shelter, and I have a job. Because when everything is stripped away from you, it comes back to the basics. You always just want the basics: a hot shower, a hot meal, some money in the bank, and a real friend, a real family member, somebody who's real, that really cares about you. And I can honestly say that I have all those things. I have a couple of really real friends. I have a couple of really real family members who actually care, and I'm real, and I care about them. And it also makes you care about them more and appreciate them more too, and not take them for granted. So when everything's stripped away and you're left with the bare minimum, really makes you look at things differently in your life, and how you want to set up your life now. What do you want it to look like now? Because you're building from the ground up, and you can build it and make it look like you want to make it within reason. So it's a blank, and you get to color it how you want to. So that's what I have for this truck driving session. While I'm laying here, didn't get a load today, but definitely going to be on them tomorrow about getting one. So keep the wheels turning, or keep that brain running. Nah, that wasn't it. I'm still trying to think of that tagline I came up with. It was really good. Well, if it was so good, why did you forget it? I don't know. Anyway, stay inspired.